Hi everyone. Do you know what is ECG? What is stable angina and unstable angina? How to treat the patient who are suffering with heart attack? Okay. To know this, let's discuss today topic is cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system normally will see this type of curve PQRST. What basically it is, and we are going to discuss about the anatomy and functioning of the heart, and we are going to discuss about various diseases of the heart. Then cardiotonic, for example, we discuss about the digitalis. Then we will see the range of the drugs which will effective in treating of congestive cardiac failure. Let's start with the anatomy of the heart. Heart is a muscular organ. A shape size is like a fist, okay, which consisting of 4 chambers. Normally heart, as this is a normal demo of the heart, okay, where we can see the blood vessels on the heart. So these are said to be the coronary arteries. So these arteries supply blood to the heart, okay, coronary artery. If a blockage of this arteries causes the myocardial infarction, I mean to say the heart tissue may die. So if you see this, so as you know, this heart has 4 chambers. So here the blood from the superior and inferior vena cava is going to be poured on the right atrium. Some from right atrium it is going to be pumped into the right ventricles. From this the blood is going to be transferred to the lungs, where the oxygen, the gas exchange is going to be take place. So after from the lung again is going to be poured on the left ventricle, left atrium, and from this left ventricle, and here with high pressure is going to be pumped through this arch of aorta, so which causes the supply of the blood to entire body. So this is normal. So if you see this physiology, so you can observe that where here the thin walls are there compared to this particular region. So because it needs higher function, it has to pump the blood with very high force. So that is the reason why the thick muscular can be seen here compared to this atrium. Okay. So here next we will say like what are the how the heart is can generate its impulses, and how the heart can contract and relax. Okay. So normally, so here SA node and AB nodes are present along with this Purkinje fibers, okay, and bundle of His will allow this heart to contract. So here normally various phases are there. So here if you see this ECG, so normally we will see like this P, Q, QRS complex and T. So P denotes the contraction of the atrium region, and QRS denotes the ventricular contraction of the ventricular region, and T denotes next repolarization. Okay. So here normally by seeing this, which part of the heart is affected, so a clinician can clearly differentiate, like even the P or Q, if is there any difference between the QRS complex or T. So depending on that, the clinician is going to differentiate the problem. So here basically here the various phases are going to be present in the heart. So compared to coming to the phase 1. So here before going to that, we will discuss about the anatomy of the tissue. So here it consisting of the gaps in this, and here so here because of this gap there will be continuous flux of these ions, calcium and sodium. So that makes the tissue is highly active. So coming to here, so normally the heart is going to be rest at minus 90 millivolts, minus 90 millivolts, where it is called as resting membrane potential. And slowly because of this gap chambers, So here there will be yellowing of this particular sodium. So slowly it's going to be depolarized to -70. So when it gets to the -70, there will be sudden opening of the sodium channels that causes the fast depolarization. So that is because of the entry of this sodium into the cell. So here actually the cardiac cell is not going to be round. So only for understanding purpose I draw this, but cardiac muscles are going to be seen like this. So if the entry of the sodium, here I mean to say is the entry of the sodium is said to be the depolarization. So this 0 phase is said to be the depolarization. Once after reaching to the plus 30 millivolts, so here there will be closing of the sodium channels and opening of the calcium channels, leading to the slight repolarization. So here you can see a slight curve. So again, so here here at phase 2, the calcium channels are going to be, slow calcium channels are going to be get opened, so that causes the further repolarized. So in phase 3, again the calcium and sodium channels are going to be completely closed, and there will be efflux of the excess of the potassium is going to be take place. So at phase 4, so here again the entire sodium, so here the positive charge sodium is going to be effluxed and the entry of the potassium is going to be take place. So that is called as resting potential. For all this process, it will take only 250 milliseconds. Only 250 milliseconds will be taken. So I mean to say that every cell is going to be get polarized and depolarized. So depending on that, the contraction and relaxation is going to be take place. Okay, so this is normally the signals are going to be self-generatory. SA node or AV node or Purkinje fibers or bundles of His are going to be generate these stimuli. So thereby it will maintain the contractility of the heart. So coming to this, now we will discuss about various diseases of the heart. Stable angina and unstable angina. This is one of the most important one. So here stable angina. So here normally here artery is going to be, so artery, so if without exercise or if high intake of the cholesterol, so what happens, there will be a plaque formation in this artery. So because of that, so here the blood supply is going to be decreased. So in case of the stable angina, so here the decreased blood supply is going to be done in the artery. So when the individual do heavy work, exercise, workouts, so obviously the organs need higher oxygen. So higher blood supply should be needed. So here because of the off blockade of this artery, it cannot supply the demanded blood towards that organ. Okay, so towards the heart. So that leads the severe pain in the heart. So that is called as stable angina. Stable angina in the sense the individual is going to be normal, he is not going to face any pain or any suffering. Only when he do excess of the work, then only the pain can be felt by the individual. Okay, unstable angina. So this is said to be the comparatively very dangerous and complicated, because so here maybe 70 to 90% of the artery is going to be blocked with this cholesterol. So resulting of that, so very less place is there for the blood supply. So here for the normal functions, so to stand, to walk, so which needed a very little energy, that is also not being fulfilled by because of the blockade of this artery. So that is called as unstable angina. So where the patient has to be hospitalized and should give proper treatment for the individual to make. So next one is myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction in the sense, so here as we discussed previously, so here the arteries are going to be supply blood to this cardiac muscle. So if you see this here, because of the thick density here, so maybe because of the some other reason, maybe some block may cause the oxygen may not supply to this particular tissue. So resulting of that, this tissue is going to be dead and fibrous is going to be formed in this area. So resulting the functionality of the heart is going to be altered. So that is called as myocardial infarction. Okay, next myocarditis, pericarditis, endocarditis. Okay, so here myocarditis in the sense inflammation of the heart muscle. Pericardium, the pericardiate is going to be inflamed. Endocarditis, this is very important. So endocarditis is maybe because of the simple bacterial infection. So normally the fever along with this, so here the endocarditis may take the life of the individual. Mostly the kids, infants see this when the infection is there. So you should not neglect. So you have to check about this endocarditis. Next, congestive cardiac failure, it is said to be, so here the heart is nothing but a pump which cannot pump blood in sufficient manner. So resulting of that, the individual cannot get the oxygen. So here the death may occur because of this. Next, ECG is electrocardiogram, echocardiogram. ECG can be seen like how this current passes, electricity is generating and how it's passing to the heart. Next, echocardiogram we can visualize by using the waves. Okay, by using sound waves we can you can see the heart where actually the function is defaulted. So this is basically how the heart is going to be work. So next we will see this cardiotonics. Cardiotonics are the agents which will enhance the contractility of the hearts. So what happens? So because of this pesticide poisoning, or maybe because of the variation, there is a bradycardia. So here heart is going to be slowly contracted. So and that too is not of full extent. Okay, some of the blood is going to be still remain in the ventricle. So that leads to the improper circulation of the blood. So to deal with, what we do is we will enhance the contractility of the heart by using cardiotonics. Example, digoxin, scopolamine, squill. So these are the agents normally used as a cardiotonics. So how these are going to be work? So here we know that here sodium is going to be get depolarized, and here is going to be utilized in the depolarization. So here what we do is, so it is inhibiting sodium potassium pump, thus causes the fast releasing of the calcium. So here in this phase digitalis is going to be work. So where the complete blockade of the sodium potassium pump and releasing of the calcium. When the calcium is released in the myocardium, so obviously it is going to be contracted. So there will be a higher contraction can be seen. So this is the basic mechanism of this cardiotonics. So coming to pharmacology, it increases the strength of the and speed of the myocardium, the contraction of the peripheral arteries. So here peripheral arteries is going to be contracted, so that leads the higher quantity of the blood to the heart. Next, force of systolic contraction is going to be increased, and duration of the systole is contracted. So here once the heart is empty, suddenly is going to be get opened, so that the blood has the access towards this. Next, it decreases the heart rate and increase the contraction velocity, increase the blood pressure, and the refractory period is prolonged. So this is a normal pharmacology that can be seen by using this cardiotonics. Okay. Next we will see the drugs acting on congestive cardiac failure. So congestive cardiac failure, in the sense here the heart cannot sufficiently pumping the blood. So here maybe the vasodilation or maybe some other region. So here basically heart cannot produce sufficient quantity of the blood to circulate. So it can be treated by the renin-angiotensin system blockers, then beta blockers, diuretics, direct vasodilators, inotropic agents, and aldosterone antagonist. So here angiotensin converting enzyme. So here what happens normally when the cardiac output is decreased. So because of the bradycardia, so here cardiac output is decreased. So that leads to the sympathetic stimulation. Sympathetic in the sense where the noradrenaline is going to be released and is going to be bind to the alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2 receptor, and it causes various functional differences. So that leads to the tachycardia, and cardiac dilation is going to be take place. So here, so because of this, again it is try to correct this decreased cardiac output. and this is one mechanism, and that leads to the decreased blood supply to the kidney. So, when the decreased blood supply can seen in the kidney, so it obviously releases the renin. This renin converting to the angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 2, which is a powerful vasoconstrictors. So, obviously the cardiac output is going to be enhanced because of this particular function. So, normally to control this, what we do is, if the heart rate is very like contractility is very high, so normally we use this AC inhibitors. AC inhibitor, what it will do? It will inhibit conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. So, resulting of this, the blood vessels vasoconstriction is not going to be take place. So, that leads to the decreased load on the heart. Next, angiotensin 1 receptor blockers. So, here this angiotensin 1 can directly act on the receptors. So, we can block these receptors by this telmisartan and candestin. Next, as this is it enhances the sympathetic stimulation, so we can block this beta 1 blockers, example atenolol, metonolol. So, here the blood pressure is high, so here we can use the diuretics to decrease the pressure. So, here diuretics, example furosemide, bumetamide, hydrothiazide, etc. Direct vasodilator, this is the one of the important category of the drugs. Whenever the patient feels the angina, okay, so we are supposed to give this sublingual tablet of isosorbide dinitrate. So, here this is a very potent drug. So, normally we have to keep under the tongue, so that the individual cannot feel the pain, because it is going to directly vasodilate. Okay, because the vasodilation, the pressure is going to be decreased. Next, inotropic agents, as we discussed about the digitalis and digoxin and aldosterone antagonist, example spironolactone. So, these are the various drugs by which we can use in the congestive cardiac failure. Hope this video is useful. Thank you.